Meeting for May 2nd, 2023 for Valley Center City Council will come to order. Roll call.
Mayor Cicerello, Councilmember Stam, Councilmember Evans, Councilmember Bass,
Here.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Gregory, Councilmember Kerstetter,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Colbert.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6, administration agenda, City Council meeting minutes from April 18th, 2023.
Motion to accept minutes as presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from the April 18th meeting. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7A, proclamation, Law Enforcement Memorial Day proclamation. I apologize. Let me get to that. There it is. Whereas the as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it and whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of Valley Center play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Valley Center, Kansas, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas the police department of Valley Center has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency, which unceasingly provides a vital public service, now, therefore, I, Ben Anderson, President of the Council, call upon all citizens of the Valley Center and upon all patriotic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 15th through 21st, 2023 as Police Week with appropriate ceremonies in which all of our people may join in commemorating police officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. I further call upon all citizens of Valley Center, Kansas to observe May 15th, 2023 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of duty. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Valley Center, Kansas to be affixed on this May 2nd, 2023. And presentation item 7B, Drinking Water Week proclamation. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas drinking water serves a vital role in daily life, serving an essential purpose to health, hydration, and hygiene needs for the quality of life for our citizens enjoy, and whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector designing capital projects, operators ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumers' taps. And whereas the coronavirus pandemic has shown a light on the importance of drinking water for health, hydration, and hygiene needs, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current and future generations depend, and whereas the citizens of Valley Center are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me, I, Ben Anderson, President of Council of Valley Center, do hereby proclaim May 7th through the 13th, 2023 as Drinking Water Week. And I will,
You did it.
perfect timing. Item 7C, Meridian Street Update Presentation. I am not doing that one, right? Okay, good.
Good evening, everybody. I'm
Howdy.
here to give an update on the Meridians project. Talk to the mic here so you can hear me. I can. I'm Riley Schmitz with PEC, project manager with the Meridian, or project manager for this project. Last time I was here, we kind of went over a few of these items already, but we've kind of gotten close to finalizing everything now. Here's the roundabout, the thing everybody is most interested in, it seems like.
No.
And the pavement marking is kind of finished up here. You can see how it could function with that free right turn lane going to the east. And then pinching off lane to the north and widening out again, providing access to the driveways there as well. We can stay there if anybody has questions regarding the roundabout, if you'd like.
Did anything change from the design that we were shown before? Was there any major changes to this?
No,
Okay.
not really. I think what's shown now is the pavement marking helps to show the crosswalks, how you have access all the way around.
I think it seems a little more distinct than last time of,
Yeah, I think that's probably is to the
Okay.
pavement marking makes it stand out more.
council, any other questions? Okay,
I do,
sorry,
sir.
I missed that.
Yeah, hiding there.
Councilmember Wilson.
So on the peach colored areas, is that actually a raised curb area, except for the roundabout and the raised, that's a more easy curb, but the other are raised curbs, regular curb height?
Right.
Okay.
Everything outside of the round area is a raised median. And then the center is your mountable
Absolutely.
truck apron.
Excellent,
So
thank you.
it's shown in peach. It's brick red color is what the intent is there. We're just trying to show it. It's hard to show on a PDF, but
Absolutely.
brick red. And then we picked a hexagon stamp. So it's kind of cool to be like the beehive type look. So, or a hornet.
Excellent,
So-
thank you.
Mhm.
And there's more of a curb distinguishing the grass and they're green at least, right?
Right.
There's
It's
an
a
actual
taller
raised
curb in
curb there. Okay.
Very similar to 77th and Broadway if you drive out there and look there.
Except for ours will be colored with a more distinct color.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Thank you for adding that. So if a tractor trailer was going for southbound, northbound to southbound, they would be able to negotiate this without hitting that center circle or?
Correct. Yep. This is all designed for large trucks. Your
Okay.
typical roundabout is designed for a WB50. It's a 50-foot trailer. This is actually designed for trucks larger than that.
Okay, so like,
53-footer.
okay. I was thinking the big ones that have like multiple trucks or multiple trailers, but anyway,
Mhm.
I wanted to ask a question is all.
I should say with the exception of westbound to 69th, because that's so tight, you're restricted by the bridge. That is designed for WB50, but I don't foresee any large trucks going out that direction. So
Thank you.
Okay.
we
Oh,
can-
Councilmember Bass.
With these roundabouts, everyone I've seen tires still come up on that center part. So it's designed where if it still comes up, it's not going to damage it or anything like that.
Correct. Yes, the way they're designed is really to consider the fastest path, they call it. So semi trucks aren't going to be blowing through there. It's more your car speed,
Yeah.
right? The car is designed to follow that inner radius, and your truck, the intent is for it to pop up on that concrete section and be able to do that. Yeah, you got to make it tight, but you also have to accommodate the trailers coming
Gotcha.
through. Anything else regarding the
Think so.
roundabout?
Not for this
Right.
section.
Go to the next page.
One real quick, on the Ford Street, we weren't able to get that to be almost exactly matched up across from each other, going into Builders One Source.
Oh, that's coming up here,
Boards.
actually. We
So,
could-
sorry, I'm getting ahead of the slides.
You
so
sure
I
are.
jumped 3 or 4. Excuse me. Yeah, I retract my question till later.
If you zoom down, we can, or scroll down there, we can actually look at that. We were able to get it lined up. It's the left turn lane, which will be a left through movement. So typically you're looking at your right turn lane to be a right through. Here it's a left through.
Okay, explain that to me because that's going to be very confusing.
So
for-
your
for
left
some
turn
people.
lane, which is typically just a dedicated left,
Mhm,
is your through movement as well.
mhm, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's fine since the right lane really is only right turn
Yeah.
only.
Mhm.
I'm just, okay.
The reasoning is if you wanted to line it up with that right turn lane, yep, you've got a large drainage structure sitting right there.
So how is that going to be marked? Because boy, I could sure see a semi maybe coming into Builders One Source in the right lane,
Mhm.
thinking that his through lane is that right lane and not the left.
So
And then he cuts over and there's somebody sitting in that left turn lane. I have concerns about that,
right.
unless you can ease my mind.
Well, it's going to be something it's going to be a learning curve for everybody. We do have arrows that will be painted on there showing that it is a left through movement. And really because of the tracks there, to be completely honest, it's going to be hard to see it until you get up and over those tracks. But they will have some dedicated pavement marking to allow for it.
Thank you.
Now, could we, Riley, could we put a sign on the
We could.
East side of the train tracks on the right-hand side, indicating what is coming over the train track?
Yes, we could do that. Some dedicated signage as
You order it
well.
now?
That would make,
Yeah.
that would make,
Order it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Order it now because it's going to take 6 months to
Yeah.
get here.
that definitely would make more sense because you're right. If the trucker can't see it till he's over the top of the track or on top of the track, then he's having to make a lane change. That could be also.
That short of a distance, yeah.
And I think that's one that we just maybe, put on the maintenance list that we make sure to keep painted, on a regular basis with our street crew. And they do a great job. I don't know if you saw a TikTok of making sure those lines are painted nicely. So
Thank you.
That was my question. You're coming over the tracks, it's 2-lane. So you're going to be in that, you will be in that through or left turn lane naturally, correct? You would have to go to the right to be in the turn lane. You would have to, okay.
That's accurate. If you scroll
Right
to
now
the-
it's backwards or the other way.
up a little bit, there we go. So sorry, did you have a question?
No, so right now it's the opposite of what he just said.
On here?
No, right now on the street, it's you come on the right side and then you have to merge onto the left.
I'm not sure what it looks like right now.
Well, it doesn't have very many markings either, but that's another story. Right now it's you come over the tracks, you're going to be in the right lane and then you have to, based off the markings, you have to go turn into the left.
If you're following the curb line, that's accurate. I think what you're getting at, the taper widens
Right.
as you're going over the tracks. But so if you're following where the center line should be, yeah, you'd line up
Hey,
with the,
He's following the curb, I'm following the center line,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. I think we're saying the same thing.
Oh, okay.
that's an old one there.
That's
That's a few years back.
That doesn't have a turn lane in it, correct?
Yeah.
So what we added was a turn lane onto there to the right.
Hmm.
Okay. I think that added signage on the east side of the tracks and on the west side of the tracks, obviously, plus the painted, I think that would should be sufficient.
Hmm.
Councilmember Colbert.
The only problem I see right now is if an 18-wheeler comes southbound on Meridian,
Hmm.
tries to get into the lumberyard, you are going to have a mess. Because he's going to take up 3 lanes to make
Yeah.
that turn.
Oh, yes.
He can do it, but he'll take the 3 lanes.
Yep. And that was one of the unfortunate parts, not able to widen that radius for southbound because of the drainage structure there. I think actually they have if they're coming southbound down Meridian, sorry,
Yeah, go south, Brent.
the
There you
movement
go.
they're making today, Yeah, that won't be there as easily. Actually, the south entrance might be more beneficial to them for a southbound movement.
Other than that, there shouldn't be any problem because if he's running a straight line on Ford Street, that's no problem. You can just move over a little bit and,
Right.
go right into the yard. But that turn there, and since you have a sewer system there and there's nothing covering it or anything, the first action that you're probably going to have is somebody's going to try to bring that rear tire not on the truck or anything, but on the trailer.
Mhm.
He's going to ride it that close to get it across there. And there's a chance of him slipping on that curb down into.
Well, that will all be enclosed, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we're closing that ditch up. So that will help.
If you got it
with that.
closed up, then you're okay.
But you are right. It will be a tight corner for somebody trying to make a right turn there. And hopefully that'll keep trucks from coming from northbound. They'll eventually learn it and come down Ford, keep them outside of Valley Center as much as possible. But there will be the one or two that does continue to come that way.
Or are we talking about changing the truck route coming in from the north?
And that's open for you guys to discuss, I guess. But
Well, that's not the truck route coming in from the north.
Well, the
now.
truck route is to come down
Ash.
Ash, but they have to come down Meridian from the north, from Sedgwick.
No, they're supposed to turn on to Fifth, then turn down Ash, and then go around.
I understand that, but I'm talking about traffic coming from 127th Street down on here.
That's what I'm talking about.
When it gets down into the city, normally they don't have any problems making that turn. But when they get down there,
you're talking
you're going to
about-
get down Ash and then you come back out on Main Street, or you're going to send them the other way.
You're supposed to go west, then on Main, then left on Sheridan, and then south on Sheridan.
Okay. Because the last 2 weeks I've seen 2 trucks come.
Yes, the trucks
Make
are
that
going
turn and
everywhere
make the
they
wrong turn
want
and come
right
around.
now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Councilman Colbert, absolutely. Yeah, the trucks right now are just going, bonkers. So they're going every which way direction they want to go right now because Ford is closed.
No, they're going for the easiest way they can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that most trucks are coming that are going to make that right turn are going to go down Industrial, and then go into the yard for Biller's First Source for the most part, and then they come in the backside Biller's First Source for the Trust Company.
Mhm.
I don't think as far as the delivery trucks go for Biller's First Source they're going to be coming from the north. So.
Yeah, the delivery trucks, I'm not worried about it. It's the 18-wheeler that comes down there, big boy.
Yep.
Yep. Councilmember Kerstetter.
2 things. One, we're discussing with Builder's First Source that the changes that are coming, correct?
Yes, this is based off the recommendation.
Perfect. Well, right now there's signage on the south entrances. It says it's exit only for trucks. So I don't know if they're going to have to change that or whatever. But the other thing I noticed is I like that there's a turn lane going from northbound to Meridian to east. I like to see
To
that.
Ford Street there.
Yeah, Ford Street. Yeah, because that's with trucks or anything larger than a car,
Mhm.
people don't like to hug that curb very well.
Right.
When I'm making a left right there, makes me nervous. So thanks.
That's to accommodate the gas trucks, correct?
All semis. Yeah.
All of them.
But mainly that was one of the thoughts behind it, right? Because we have a lot of.
So then they don't have
There.
to swing to Maze
Mhm.
to come
Right.
back.
The other thing I'd like to point out about the intersection is we've got the crosswalk shown clearly here, and that'll have flashing beacon signs similar to what you see around town. Also, if you want to zoom out, we can look at that Magellan entrance too. I think last time here we had discussed the right turn lane into their entrance. That had to be taken out due to some of their concerns. It is still widened, the entrance is. I wish you could see the existing underneath there, but it's quite a bit wider. That'll allow their trailers to pull up on actual pavement and not onto the grass adjacent. So Yeah, actually, the entrance ties into that inlet just to the south. It's that far. Yep, right there. We widened it that much.
Councilmember Bass, did you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I see semis all the time going eastbound on Main Street and then turning southbound on Meridian, and they seem to be able to navigate that. And all the motorists seem to, help. And, so I would imagine turning into Builders Pro Source would be a little easier than that turn.
It'll actually be a little tighter.
It'll be tighter than
Yes.
Meridian and Main.
Yes, this one will be.
Okay.
And again, it's due to the constraint of having that drainage structure right there. So
Any other questions or comments?
you can zoom out. Are you running that, Brent? Can you zoom out a little bit, please? I remember if there's anything else on the south portion that we need to discuss.
I think with Magellan's, when they widened their entrances the way they currently are, I've seen trucks that now they don't have to swing out into the left lane to make that turn.
Right.
Some still do, I think, because they're not, but I've seen them be in the right lane and make that turn and navigate that turn
Mhm.
without swinging wide. So
Yeah. Hopefully this will help get rid of some of that. Yeah.
Probably habit more than anything.
There's a crosswalk there up at 72nd and Ness. Yeah.
How about those improvements?
We can. Yep. That's been widened out as well at Ness Street, given an actual approach there rather than a driveway entrance that
Yeah.
exists today. So that'll be beneficial for those folks that live back in there.
Railroad.
Yeah. That's it on the south side. If we head to North Meridian, this hasn't changed all that much. It's going to probably seem more distinct again because of the pavement marking showing up here now. We've got the crosswalk showing at 4th Street all the way around. If you want to zoom in on that guy. Yeah, sure. We got crosswalks showing everywhere, but the one at 4th Street, I think, is in particular on top of everybody's minds due to the nature of the school crossing. There she is. Again, not much has changed on the north section, but I'm willing to take any questions if anybody has some.
I'm sorry. Councilmember Kerstetter, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear it click.
Sorry, I'll work on that one. And I was talking with Mr. Eggleston earlier, because I was forgetting which section we're doing a turning lane, and it's not this section. I think it's a different section we're doing it. But as I'm driving through this nice picturesque area, are we going to increase the width on any of these sections, or because there's not a lot of width to add to it?
Right. Right now it's 2 lanes with parking each side. We are matching the existing width, but adding bulb outs to protect the parallel parking along the street.
Okay.
Since I live here in town, I kind of know how everybody drives this. You're driving the middle of the entire parking in lane. It's
Right.
this will keep people closer to center and protect those that are parking or walking adjacent to the roadway.
Okay. And then we're replacing with like existing curb and gutter,
Right.
but improving the drainage and gutters.
Yes.
and-
There's actual storm sewer that's going in with this
Perfect.
project. So
Because that's been a problem, and we're continuing all the way to 93rd Street, I'm assuming, eventually.
right. This has a 8-foot walking path along the west side and 6 foot on the east side.
Wow, that seems wide.
I think this one out here adjacent to 5th for comparison, that's a 10-foot multi-use
Okay.
path there.
But it's still wider than what they have right now.
It is. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just remember, never mind.
The storm drain for this ties into South Meridian out to our, we're able to tie into that, correct?
Right.
Does that
There's
go
a-
all the way up to Fifth Street?
So there's a high point actually at 4th Street.
Oh, okay.
So 4th Street to the north drains north, and then 4th Street to the south drains all the way to the inlet we're tying into in front of the bank at,
Okay.
at Main Street there.
That's always been a pinch point for
Mhm.
nice little whirlpool when we get a good rain. My other question was, are we aware of how many of the mature trees we're going to lose along there? Because I'm assuming that
Yes.
we're going to have some casualties of this, and what is our game plan on notifying residents? Because we're going to get those calls, I'm sure.
Yep. I don't know. Do you want to speak on that, or would you like me to? So
It's not a fun discussion, but
it's not, and I understand that. It's between the back of curb and the sidewalk, it's been decided to remove them. And really that's a future maintenance issue. You've got these massive trees. You don't want those roots tearing up your brand new street. The city is talking about replacing trees, putting new trees in after this project, and going through and adding beautification as necessary.
in between curb and sidewalk, like smaller,
Something smaller.
something
more
that stays.
maintainable.
And that's part of what people need to understand is those trees have been there for 50 to 70 years, and that area is not meant to have a tree that large. Is there any way and I don't know, I assume that's through our department that's going to do that beautification. Is it through parks? Is there something we can do to be a little more proactive with getting
Well,
some
so we're going
renderings
door to
out
door. I mean,
to-
we're going door to door.
Okay,
So
that's
so most of these residents are going to either need temporary construction easements or right of way acquisitions, depending upon the locations. But yeah, I mean, all the trees will unfortunately have to be removed. And then of course we'll be working with Neil and I think everybody knows Roger Stewart. He's the arborist. I call him the tree whisperer. That will help out with picking out the right variety and right species of trees to put back. Also too, throughout this project and throughout between Main and Fifth, there also will be decorative lighting, 20, right, I believe. 20 brand new decorative light poles that are going to be added. And so, we really kind of have to, this is your time when you go through and you clean everything. You put, your new water line back on the west side of the road because right now it's underneath the actual, asphalt. And then you also put in your decorative light poles, new trees for the next 100 years and all those things. And so it's going to look a lot different. But yes, we'll be going out door by door, knocking on everybody's, talking to them, making sure that they're all aware. But we want to make sure that you as council saw this first. And so I know that the tour has already kind of started, the talking tour of going and talking with all the residents between Rodney's staff and City Hall staff. We will be jointly tackling this as we need to get this done quickly.
all right. Thank you I just want to make sure because it's a lot easier to take that up front and have that discussion instead of having angry people
Yeah.
pounding on the door. So
And most have contacted myself or City Hall throughout the course of the last 3.5 years of this project kind of coming. So
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Well, you hit on it a little bit, Brent. The water line's going to be replaced. Storm replaced. Anything else that's going to be replaced since we're digging everything up? Sewer.
Nothing city-wise, but the franchise utilities. So
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. Right now, you all may be noticing AT&T is actually in town relocating. I tried to get a schedule from them today.
How about
Wasn't-
fiber?
Yeah. yeah. Clearwave, I've actually have their plans and reviewing them now. Kansas Gas is the big one. That'll be the most impacted for the city. They are relocating their entire line from Main Street up to north of 4th Street. And that starts May 15th, and they plan to be here until mid-July or so. I think that's the date I gave you. So,
Are we communicating that with? I'm assuming you're going to put that on social media.
yep, I just found out as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So did I, yeah.
You said Main Street to 77th or Ford?
From Main Street up to just north of 4th Street.
Oh, 4th. That's why I was like, didn't we just replace all of that? I thought you meant this way.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, they'll be replacing from Ford
yeah.
south as well.
Okay, south, but not, we've got that, the part that we did before from Main to Ford. Because that was a pretty big issue with that as well, with gas. Like because that's always a big.
You're talking about the Ford Street
Yes,
project?
that's why I was asking, because I thought we did that when we did that project.
Yeah.
That I misunderstood when you said 4th.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Now you might be seeing something in this, but from Ford to Main Street, Cox. And so Cox will be
Mhm.
finally moving that line that they left, hanging on the west side of the street for, I don't know how long, but
Yep, that
So-
was the,
that's a separate, there's a lot of utility work going on.
I've noticed that's the reason for asking questions here.
that's separate, but I am pushing them to put it in line with
Yes.
this project under relocation efforts they have here, which I've told them they need to be clear by around August to be clear for this project. But I know they're working through stuff with Brent as well.
Councilmember Bass.
What kind of street closures are we looking at and kind of the duration of time?
So for traffic control, the plan is we're going to let the project in September, meaning construction will start October, November-ish. That's to completely stay clear of Fall Festival. That's the intent there. We'll start on the north section first from Main to 5th, and it'll be one lane, one way, northbound direction. So the plan is to complete that section first and then start on the southbound or the south.
What's the approximate timeline for completion? You said start October,
So the project,
post Fall Festival sometime.
yeah, the project as a whole, we're talking year and a half.
Okay.
But this north section will be done,
We should be able to get that done before following September.
right.
Okay. I think I can speak for a lot of people that I know those calls would be coming in.
Right.
Don't mess with their parade. So
Yeah, depending on KDOT's process. But the south piece, we intend to start at the railroad and finish that up. And so it's going to be a complete road closure, similar to when they were working on their tracks through here. Get that just whooped as quick as we can. And then open the road back up to two-way direction, but it's one lane each way. And we're going to have to build Meridian in thirds because of the width restriction and to provide safety for the people working out there and for the drivers, really. So you'll start on the east side first, construct the first lane. Then you move to the center, construct the two center lanes, and then move to the west side and construct all of that sidewalk and west side lane. Once that's complete, so I should back up a little bit. At the 69th Street intersection, we're pulling back to the limits of the roundabout north and south and leaving that as existing during that phase of the project. Then once we're done completing all the lanes, it's a complete road closure at 69th and Meridian to construct the roundabout. I think we've all seen what's been happening at 61st and Broadway. We don't really want that to happen here.
How long is that projected to be closed, that intersection?
So the one at Ford Street was done in about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
I imagine it'd be similar here.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
So between the railroad tracks to 69th Street, it's three sections,
Right.
and it's going to be you said complete closure at one time and then partial closure at another time.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand what you mean.
Okay. So at the railroad tracks, we're tying in on the north, and then to the south, we're going to close at the north side of the industrial.
Oh, that section is going to be completely closed.
completely closed
Okay.
there.
I was
Yep.
thinking from Ford Street south is going to be
Sorry, I
completely
should be
closed
more
at one
clear.
point or
That's my
another.
mistake.
Industrial will still be accessible. Okay. So that's not going to cut that off then.
No. There will be instances during when you have 2 lanes, 2-way, where industrial or Ford Street intersection have to be closed temporarily
Sure.
to finish pavement in front of them. But we have some options around that. So
Councilmember Kerstetter.
I know I've said it before, just please communicate with everybody along there, the businesses and the residents. I know you guys do a good job. We've had bad experiences with not communicating enough.
Understand.
Too much is, well, there's no such thing as too much sometimes.
And you said the entire project was about a year and a half?
That's what we're projecting at this
Okay.
moment. We still have to have those discussions with KDOT, but yes, year and a half is the way we're viewing it.
Council, any more questions? Thank you so much for your update and for answering our questions.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Item 8, public forum. This is the time of the meeting that anyone is here can speak about an item that is not on the agenda. Oh, I apologize. I'll back up. What did I, oh,
No,
that's after that. It's next.
Appointments are after.
Nobody for public forum. Okay. Now we'll move on to appointments. Planning and Zoning Board. Ryan doesn't want us to skip over that. And do I have that on here? Dalton Wilson, that's why he's here. Dalton Wilson, out of city. I don't think I have that in my packet, you guys, so thank you. For Planning and Zoning Board, term expires April 2026. Council? There's someone here that would like to take that?
Absolutely, I'd love to. No, I think this is a great young man that can join forces with Ryan and the rest of the group on this, that he's wanted to have his roots here within the community and within government itself. And so it's a good start for him. Good place. Great.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the appointment of Dalton Wilson for the term through March of 2026.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, sir, for your willingness to serve. And thank you for being here. Item 10, old business, ordinance 1388-23, speed limit within the Cedar Ridge subdivision.
Good evening, council. Fortunately, you're stuck with me for a couple of these things that do not have our department director. So I'll stand for any questions.
Motion to approve ordinance 1388-23, which establishes a maximum speed limit of 20 miles per hour within the Cedar Ridge development for second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-1. Item 11A, request for right-of-way waiver, farmers market signs.
I don't know why. I was just going to grab one, but good evening again, council. Before you is a request. It's really come from Ryan or from Chris or from somebody else from the farmers market, but here I am. Requesting a waiver to place these incredible, whoa, that's really large, farmers market signs. There we go. Within the right of way on the weeks that we do have the farmers market. Hopefully, the first one is coming up this Thursday is the first Thursday. May 4th, we have a ton of incredible things planned for, May 4th, may the 4th be with you. Not being a Star Wars guy myself or, any Disney related things that, so we have a great event planned. Hopefully the weather holds off. It might storm, it might not. Chris is hoping, he's like, yeah, it's not going to. But if it does, we are going to postpone everything until the May 18th one. But what this allows is for us to place the first and third Thursdays, these signs within the right of way. We're going to try our best not to, but we had a lot of requests last year to have signs in people's yards. They said, hey, can I get a sign? I'm in a high traffic area that I would like to promote the event. And then we can also place them kind of by crosswalks or, kind of those things outside of the site triangle, of course, but sometimes within our right of way. What we'll do then is we'll remove those. They're not going to stay all the time because that gets stagnant and then nobody looks at them, just like the, siding, your house, or we buy junk, nobody looks at those. And so once the event's over, we'll go pick them up and then we'll put them back out probably the week of the event. And then on the day of the event, we have ones that are just like this, but with arrows that we do want to put on Main Street, on Ash, and some of those areas to make sure people know that we're on downtown Main Street, right on that vacant lot across from Tequila's.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Two things. You hit on one of them a little bit. So your contingencies for inclement weather.
Mhm.
Your starting event is you hit on, but like, do you have any other contingencies for? Is it you cancel it? Hopefully not, or you just let the vendors choose whether to come or not, or.
That's a decision that, the Main Street organization will have to make. They're the ones that are, operating the farmer's market, of course. But at least for this first one, we said, instead of, doing one the week following and those things, we'll just keep with the 2 a month. So the first and third Thursday. So if one rains out, we'll probably just not have necessarily live music or some of the extra things like this week. This Thursday, we're going to have our lighting ceremony along with it. So all the downtown buildings will get their trim lighting special extravaganza will go on potentially this Wednesday or this Thursday. So it kind of, it varies week to week depending upon if we have, live music, inflatables, kid stuff, those things. But, I think for the most part, I think we'll probably just, let that one just go and just wait for the next one, I think is kind of the head nod we're getting. So.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Next question deals with just the yard signs in general. So I know there's a political sign ordinance. What this would be more an advertisement for a city event or any kind of event. What's that kind of? That's just probably more for you, Mr. Schrack.
Well, and so the political sign is by state statute.
Well, okay, it's the law. Whereas this is kind of in a gray area, or
The city ordinance for our own signs within the right of way.
okay. Well, see, this is why I wanted to ask a question. That way we can.
Yep. That's why we're asking for a
out
waiver
there. Right. Okay.
by
So
the governing body.
even the junk guys that have their signs in the right of way, they shouldn't be there without a waiver.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
And so then once we place these signs for the Main Street folks, then, Bill doesn't go by and pick them up.
Okay.
Otherwise, Bill would go pick up, just like he did with, AYSO or, some of those things that don't come and ask for a waiver. And so even though, it's kind of a city, not necessarily sponsored, but kind of a joint partnership, we're asking for a waiver and doing it the correct way.
Yeah.
Now, all those organizations, Ryan's office, they do a fantastic job at, making sure that if those organizations do want to come and ask for these waivers too, they all have that same opportunity.
And that's not, we don't charge for the waivers or anything. We just,
No, sir.
city council still has to approve that, correct? Okay.
That's why it's always,
Come on up here, Community Director Shrek.
so that's why the Chamber of Commerce, when they have Fall Festival, when they have the garage sales, that's why that request is always attached to their letter, is because no signs are allowed in the right of way outside of the state political, the state statute that deals specifically with political signs during election season. Outside of that, no signs are allowed in the right of way, unless it's, of course, a city-owned street sign or a no parking sign, one of those more permanent signs. Those are, of course, allowed in the right of way. But any of these types of signs do require specific waivers by city council to allow for them to be placed temporarily in the right of way. Now, you will see with garage sales and with realtor signs, as long as there's an open house posted, and that's okay. They are allowed to temporarily place them in the right of way. And Bill and Esteban, they leave them there in place during an open house. But per the city regulations in the zoning code, those garage sale signs and real estate open house signs, once that event is over, those signs are to be removed from the right of way. But those do not require a special waiver.
Are these just standard corrugated yard signs with the metal? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Council, is there a motion?
Move to approve right-of-way waiver to allow farmers market signs.
I have a motion and a second. I'd like you to read that 3 more times fast.
Slow down just a little bit.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I had to give you a little hard time because that one was a tongue twister.
It was a little difficult.
Thank you for reading it.
Item 12, consent agenda.
No.
No, that's not it.
Nope.
Crossed off too early. Approve item 11B, approval of allocating the remaining American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Good
Sorry.
evening again, council. As you see, our assistant city minister, Mr. Smith, is not with us this evening, enjoying a nice t-ball game with his son, which we absolutely promote. Spend time with family. Here before you is approval from the council of reallocating our remaining ARPA money, plus any interest that we do earn in that account, because we do, of course, have a money market account that is gaining decent interest, isn't it, there, Councilmember Wilson? I think.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
And so we're asking to put the remaining amount towards our new water treatment plant endeavor. As you know, our water treatment plant project. Sorry, what's that? Oh, sorry. As you know, we are in the middle of doing a new water treatment plant that is still underway with Burns and Burns McDonnell. We are in the design phase right now. That will be located right by our incredibly beautifully painted water tower over by our brush pile. Don't worry, the brush pile is not going away. Don't send hate mail yet. We will be relocating it. We will not close it. We will not close it. And so making sure that we do use the remaining funds. Anything we can do to keep that total debt payment down is our goals and objectives. Of course, we have already applied for federal funds as well as state revolving loan funds, water funds, any water funds that we can get our hands on. We are absolutely going to be applying for it. The goal, of course, you can't build a water treatment plant overnight, is to have it up and operational by 2026 for our negotiations with the city of Wichita by 2027. It takes a long time to permit these buildings and these facilities, but what this does is allows us to use our remaining ARPA plus any interest towards this project. So it does need a motion and approval by the governing body. Stand for any questions.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
I forgot what I was going to ask. You were long-winded.
Is that different, Councilman Kerstetter, than other meetings?
Worse than normal. So we have 600,000-ish. You're welcome. We're just going to leave it in that account until we're ready to spend it, basically, right? Okay.
This needs to be documented for the ARPA process and procedures. And so this is just part of the requirements of reporting what we're allocating those ARPA funds for.
And then we're done with those funds, right? That's
Yes, this will use the
basically
remaining plus any interest.
Perfect. Gosh, that's all. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Now, yes, we are still, asking Sedgwick County, who did receive $200 million in ARPA funds, if there is any that they would like to contribute. Us, along with the city of Park City, Derby, Bel Air, Hayesville, Keachai. We all are still asking for any remaining funds that might be left over.
Absolutely.
And Mays.
Council, any other questions?
Motion for approval of allocation of remaining ARPA funds for the new water treatment plant.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, again, consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13, staff reports. Who's first? Mr.
Farmers market, I would just say, if you will, stay tuned to social media. That'll be the best way to know what is going to happen, what won't happen based on the weather on Thursday.
Thank you. Parks and Public Buildings Director Owings.
Good evening, council. Just wanted to bring some updates, project updates to your attention. Proud to announce our city entry sign at 85th Street is now got electricity to it, so it's lit up at night. We finally got everything finished up there with Evergy and our electrical contractor, so we're really happy about that. It looks good. I hope you can all get a chance to drive by and take a look at that. We've got another project going on over at Lions Park simultaneously with the pool project. The contractors, pardon me, the contractors that are working to replace the purple tube slide that's been shut down for quite some time, they were able to move in. That contractor is also working on fixing the rubber poured in place, rubber surfacing. So part of that playground right now is fenced off and going to be shut down. 2 weeks tops. We're thinking like 7 to 10 days. It's kind of what we're thinking, and it's been posted on social media, so folks get the word out today. It was weather sensitive, also time sensitive because of the lead time to get them here, but specifically weather sensitive, temperature sensitive, to get that poured in place surfacing to bond like it's supposed to. So real excited that they're here and finally working on it. So as I mentioned, the pool is going real good. We're about to wrap up. Should be turned over to us by May 12th, and then the city staff will be putting finishing touches on getting the facility ready to operate and fill and open for the 23 season. As far as projects over there, kind of the side project, the pickleball court, folks started over there. They started power washing, getting that ready today. Fencing is going in, landscaping's happening here in the next few days. Parking lot's underway. Guttering is just about to finish up. The new gutter ledge is going in. It looks fantastic. No more tile that breaks off anymore. So we're really excited about that. What else? Oh, Brick Mob, yes. Brick Mob has been in there. That's the yellow base color on the building, and then they're going to be doing some murals to really touch that up and make it really shine. So
It will get darker. That's just the first coat.
Yes.
Don't panic.
Yep. In fact, they said they'll probably slap about 3 coats of paint on that when it's all said and done. So that taken care of. So we're optimistic that it's right on schedule. Everything seems to be on schedule. So
The awnings are up.
the what?
The awnings.
Yes, the awnings are up, and got to watch a really neat process over there the other day when they were setting stone. They have big limestone blocks for benches in some of the seating areas. They have a really unique piece of equipment that sets those in place that has a big giant suction cup on the end of an excavator type of machine, and it can pick those up and spin them around and move them wherever they need to be with precision accuracy. It was quite impressive to watch that. So lastly, just wanted to mention along the lines of the pool and rec, the next meeting there is May 17th, not August, May 17th, 6 p.m. here in this building. Stand for any questions?
Councilmember Wilson.
Yes.
Neil, I know this may be more of a rec question, but there has been news reports here in the last couple of nights about low staff for swimming pools in our local areas. Do we have any update from the rec on any issues with
I've heard,
hiring?
as I've
lifeguards?
understood from Blake, I think they're at full staff with their hiring. So yes, there's a lot of other folks that are, I know City of Wichita, our consultant that's, that we meet with regularly. He's got some ties to Wichita, and they have had some struggles. there. So
Excellent. Glad
even
to hear
with
that.
Raised wages, they've, things like that. They're still struggling. So we're very fortunate to have a good following here in Valley Center to support the lifeguard positions. So, and then
Very good.
the rest of those positions. So
Thank you, sir.
yep, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Play that video. Play that video.
This is the video that's going to go on social media and the website of the new Rec and Aquatics facility. It's a little fly through, so check it out.
Yes, that is me doing push-ups.
Like old peach baskets. There's not
Floating
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't even notice that when I watched it before.
I didn't notice it either.
Sorry, skip it a little bit. I don't know why.
Like that thing outside.
You can do community events there and stuff.
Questions?
I have one that kind of ties into Lions Park and this, and it may be, well, it is for you probably, but
Okay.
what is our plan for relocating the sand volleyball area? Because I know that was going to get pushed. Are we going to relocate it in Lions Park? Is it something we're going to do at the new facility? Is that something we've thought of? It's getting
that is a good
displaced,
question.
correct?
That's where the
We have one at both?
splash pad would
Right.
be. That is a good question. We have not got as far as figuring out where we would relocate.
Okay, that splash pad is not going to get built this year, correct? I'm asking for the use of that, the one time a year that I know that gets used the most is Fall Festival.
Yeah, fall festival. Yeah, I do
Okay.
think. I do think some kids do play sand castles in there and stuff
Okay,
during fall fest.
well, they have a volleyball tournament there for the school.
Oh, do they?
Yes, so that's why I was asking if it was going to get
Well, I haven't seen
displaced.
that yet. So-
But we're not putting the splash pad in before,
No, it won't
Okay.
be before that. And so what we're going to do is, so that's going to be part of the bid packet. If you recall, when McCown and Gordon were here, they said that we'll put that as a bid alternate item on there, and then we'll be able to select if we do want to do that or not. It wouldn't happen until potentially late fall, winter, if not spring next year. Depending upon what the timing, if we do actually select that or not. That is one of those items that we'll have to look at as we actually receive those bids on what the time frame of when the contractor itself who puts those in could potentially do it. At this time, we have not had any discussions on relocating or building a new sand volleyball court. That's something to where now with the indoor volleyball opportunities that you saw in the gym space, I'll actually have volleyball opportunities inside there that we just have not explored with the Outdoor Spaces Board yet as far as relocating that sand volleyball. Not saying we can't, not saying that at all, but not something that we've discussed as far as where to potentially locate that.
okay.
Also, too, did want to mention, sorry, go ahead.
That's right, I have a couple questions, there's a couple questions from the council.
All that information is available also too, thanks to Mr. Smith on our website right now. So if you do go on valleycenterks.org, you can click on the update. There you go. Sorry, it's kind of weird. The mouse is, and it has all the links, the videos, the brochure, pictures, all those things are on the website. So if you do have constituents or have people Facebook message you or anything, say, hey, go to the website. There's a ton of information on there regarding the new facility. And also too, this is on our TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Reels, stories, all the
Okay.
things. So
Nice space.
Councilmember Colbert.
Yeah, I got one question for you, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Whose responsibility is it for the Lions sign and the lion figurehead of maintaining that?
That falls to us. Mhm.
Do you have any plans of updating it? Because with all these new changes going in and that, if you ride that corner and see that lion looks sick,
Right. As far as the statue itself,
It does, I'm serious.
sorry.
We do have some plans at some in time in the future to rework some of the landscaping around there. Now, the statue himself, we did have, I can't remember the name of the place in Burton that does all the statuary. They came in and they did a little bit of rework on his tail a few years ago. And he does take some abuse from time to time from our local vandalism.
Well, the only thing I'm looking at, and I understand when I said it looks a little sick, that's,
But yes, the landscaping around there, yeah,
Yeah.
we do have some plans. We didn't want to do a whole lot because we know that with part of this project at the pool, there's going to be a little segment of sidewalk that comes in over there at that corner with the curb cut, and that some of that may be disturbed through that area right through there.
well, if we can get a little life in the line, it'll look good.
Yes.
Councilmember Bass.
Yes, sir.
On the aquatic and rec center, have you got down into the details of all of the weight equipment, machines? Have we got that far as what's all going to be in there? Because that this seems to be a big question I get as far as, is there going to be enough bench racks or squat racks? And
Are you asking if there's going to be enough weights for you to lift?
I'm just saying what I'm hearing is all I'm saying. The questions I'm
I
receiving.
don't recall if they've actually got into what specific machines, but I
Okay.
know that we've got into a lot of the discussion about how many electrical outlets and
Okay.
just the machines that don't require electricity. And I know Blake has been working on quite a bit of that. This is a little more in his realm. So do you know?
And we've met with vendors, that lay these out all over the country, that do a lot of the Wise, Planet Fitness. I
Okay,
mean,
good.
so there's a there's a specific industry that has a certain layout and standard, and if it's a certain Peloton bike, or if you have a TV here, if you have a wall TV there, and then you don't need a screen here, and all those things are getting worked out with the rec, and so that space will be well equipped.
I'll report back to my workout group.
The big thing that they had too is making sure that that you can rotate around, even though might not be new. It may appear new because people don't walk past certain points at certain time, and so once they get a machine, they are set on that one machine, and they don't look to see what's around. And so when you move that one machine around, I guess people use other equipment that had been there the entire time. Yeah, so there's a whole math equation that goes into that. And then also too, I want to make sure to point out on your screen here, the fitness area, that there are separate restrooms kind of in the middle of that. So then there's a place to hold mirrors. And so where you see the fitness area, that's a good separator from the elliptical to the weights. And so, just want to make sure that that's clearly identified here.
Thank you, sir. Engineering updates, Mr. Shear. Mr. Arbuckle. Mr. Smith is not here. Mr. Clark. Did I skip over Rodney? Once again, I crossed him off before I asked him. Mr. Eggleston, sorry. Thank you.
All right. I just want to take the opportunity, I'm sure, everybody, some of you have gotten calls. I wanted to extend an apology from all of staff for all the inconvenience of the brush pile being closed this week. It is really due to safety. It really, really is. And the Sedgwick County coming and grinding that brush pile, as you know, we started that last year. It equates to a significant savings to the taxpayers. When we looked into doing this, it was minimum $20,000 to have that done, to bring someone in to do that. And Sedgwick County has agreed to a schedule of almost twice a year to do that for us. And it eliminates the dangers and safety hazards of burning and the pollution. And so, that hopper out there, when they're putting that stuff in there, I was out there just for a couple minutes and saw several things fly out of the top of it. So it really, really is for the safety of the public. So again, I wanted to extend apologies for any inconvenience. We hope to get that done, and we hope to get it opened up after this week, but just wanted to let everyone know about that.
And we appreciate you not burning those of us who live to the north of there when there's a south wind, because in the past, that's been,
Well, and it's hard on our equipment too,
Yeah.
to maintain it when it's burning. So we do it. We do appreciate having this method to take care of it.
Thanks,
It actually
sir.
affects the water tower too. And so you could tell, I mean, they said they saw a significant, impact on the water tower on the west side because of the burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it creates all kinds of soot and discoloration.
Thank you. Sorry, I overlooked you.
Oh, no problem.
Wasn't intentional. Mr. Clark.
No, thank you.
Yes. Uh-oh, not so fast. Mr. Kerstetter has a
I have
question.
a question. It's regarding appropriation ordinances, and I know this isn't consent agenda, so I'm going to make it as generic as I can. What's the dollar amount that the city council has to approve for it to get paid?
Are you talking about our appropriation? Are you talking about our purchasing policy? Because the purchasing policy is, are you talking about your approval
The
or?
appropriation ordinance, for it to be on here and for us to approve it, I know there's some things that have to be approved prior to the checks getting written.
That, yes, and so that's your purchasing policy,
Okay.
which is separate than, yep. So your appropriations, basically, all bills,
Mhm.
every vendor that's getting paid by the city gets then, processed and ratified by the council. Now, the council does not have to, approve every time that there's a purchase made by a department. If it's filling up gasoline, if it's operations, if it's
Well, and like
within,
there, in
the
some of them,
25.
sorry, in some of them, I know that like,
Mark.
I'll use McCown Gordon as an example, that we've got a contract with them for a
Yes.
certain amount of money, so that makes sense. And then there's
That's
some
why
other things.
change orders come to you.
Yeah, and that, so there's a lot of things that make sense, but there's some of them that I'm like, okay, I don't remember approving anything, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Or like I guess we can talk later. But I'm just curious as to what the dollar amount is that we have to page 31 or 30 is where it starts.
Well, I mean, this isn't a consent agenda.
Right.
You already approved.
Right, and
No, I know. I'm trying to ask a generic question.
is there a dollar threshold for anything? What you're saying is,
$25,000.
I think this may be something you can ask him after.
Okay,
But
perfect.
you're asking if there's something that, if we didn't approve it, is there a threshold for that? But you're saying we have a purchasing policy.
Yes.
That's already in place for
Purchasing
this.
policy, So 25,000, anything
Okay.
over 25,000.
I thought it was lower than that, but that's okay.
Okay.
I thought it was way lower than that, but
At 20 or 25, I have authority
Well, that's
to,
fine.
and then
I
we
just
always get it ratified by the
was-
city council.
asking the question just because it's
And
been a
then-
while since I've asked it, or just in
No, we
general.
just approved it.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.
You almost got away. Councilmember Bass.
Nothing for me. I haven't eaten dinner yet. so.
Don't be lifting any heavy weights till after you eat. I have nothing. Councilmember
I
Kerstetter.
have nothing.
Councilmember Wilson.
I'm good, sir.
Councilmember Colbert.
The only thing I got this evening is, if nobody went to the moving wall while it's here in Valley Center, you will have a chance now to do that. El Dorado's in June is going to be putting the moving wall up. And they're going to try to compare their wall against the Valley Center wall. I said, forget it. We did the thing. It's over. We're not going to do it for another year or two or three. Maybe, if I live that long. If there's no other business before the council, I make a motion the meeting be adjourned.
Second. Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.